Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is Transfers Live. That's Joe Smith. And we're here to bring you all the latest news about Manchester United and transfers and contracts and all that jazz.
Everything that's going on, really, isn't it? Jay here for Stretford Paddock.
Yes.
I might start using that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
Why
nice,
not?
isn't it?
Yeah, have you got one? What do you like to say?
What's up? What's up, you bastards? Here we are again with a brand new YouTube, checking it out from the online.
Do we have to have the conversation again?
I'll stop it.
Thank you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Jay.
Many happy
You know what they say?
My friend.
The Guinness a day keeps, the age of 70 away.
Yeah.
Cheers. Carry on. Go on.
Yes.
What are we talking about
Whilst
today?
he's getting his Guinness sorted, we're going to be talking about new contracts. We've been dishing out new contracts, and you don't need to panic because they're not for the likes of Phil Jones, although, you know, never say never. It's for some of the youngsters that we want to see get new contracts. They've been given new deals. We're going to be addressing the rumours that Van der Beek was unhappy. The false rumours, I'll just say it straight away, the false rumours that Van der Beek was unhappy. We're also going to be talking about Edinson Cavani's frustration. You've seen it from the graphic, that he was a bit upset and that, you know, could be the end of the road for him, as Boys to Men said. Bit of a summer clear out on the cards. Ronaldo's return.
I'm having it. He's coming back.
You know, is this 2011,
Any
12,
20 any
13,
year.
14, 15, whatever
Could
again. Pogba to PSG. The press conference, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking to press. Milenkovic talks.
Yeah.
Nice. Gianluca Mancini.
So much coming up, Jay. Why don't you just say loads?
Diogo Dalot. His
Dalot.
future.
Oh my God.
Because all is not as it may seem to be. If that
Really?
makes any sort of sense whatsoever. Get involved in the comments, hit like, give us a like, let us know what you think. I've already seen some chat going on, because it is St. Patrick's Day, about who United's best ever Irish player is. For me, it's Roy Keane. Any other answer is wrong, but do get involved in the comments and let us know what you think. Are you going to have your drink?
I'm all right. I'm not
All right,
thirsty.
okay, good.
Jay.
Yes.
That was fucking lovely. Let's get stuck in.
Let's get stuck in, lad. Let's get stuck into this live video.
Let's get stuck into
like
these
he's
lot.
just got
You
stuck
go
into
out
that
there
Guinness.
and you get stuck into them news stories, Jay.
passion.
You do not let them rest, yeah? Get in there.
Right, we'll start with the new contracts then, because as I said earlier, Manchester United have given new deals to Ted and Menge, who we love, Anthony Elanga, who we also love.
We love saying his name, don't we?
Yes. And Hannibal.
Maidbury.
Maybe. There you go, you see. There you can see it on the graphic. I'll let you read it out, Joe.
Manchester United have worked hard to secure the futures of their top prospects, with Hannibal Maidbury, Anthony Elanga and Ted Mengi signing new deals. Shola Shortire slash Shoretire has also agreed his first professional deal at United. They've worked really hard. How hard do you think that to work?
Very hard.
Do you?
Really.
To keep,
extra hard.
To get young players to sign for Manchester United. I reckon it can't have been that hard, to be honest.
Well, just to play devil's advocate here.
Go on then, if you will. If you must.
3 words. Angel Gomez.
Good point.
Yes.
Another 3 words for you.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it is 3 words. Paul Pogba.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's easier said than done, isn't it? Because the last thing you want is, Maidbury, Mengi, Elanga turning up at Juventus in 3 years' time with a couple of Serie A's around the neck, going, we want 89 million for him.
And United going, oh yes, of course.
Yes, please.
Here you go. Have all our transfer budget. Oh, what's that? You want to leave almost immediately because Mino Raiola is your agent. Never mind.
We'll also keep you up to date, by the way, with the Chelsea Atletico score. It's currently 1-0 Chelsea, 2-0 on aggregate. Atletico need 2 goals basically to go through, so we'll keep you up to date with that.
I was saying to you earlier, they did the job last season, Atletico.
What, knocking Liverpool out?
Yeah, beating the Scousers.
That's a good
so
point.
I'll give them a pass if they don't succeed tonight. Right, so honestly, are you happy?
Yeah.
Do you get overly excited about youngsters signing deals? Is it something that floats your boat?
I mean, it's something that floats my boat. I don't get tremendously excited because they were already at United. Signing another deal isn't the most sort of shocking or outlandish proposal, especially when it's young lads who haven't really, none of those players have really broken into the first team particularly. Obviously, Shoretire's made a couple of appearances in the last month or so, but generally speaking, none of these players are playing every week. They never seemed in doubt that they would sign an extension because we've not heard any rumours either way. It's not like the papers have been full of, Shoretire set to leave or Mengi set to snub United. We haven't seen any of that. Basically, the first news we've heard on a contract is they're staying.
Yeah.
So that's good for me. Again, all these players look pretty good. And in the case of Ted Mengi, who is at Derby now, I believe, isn't he?
Sure is, my friend.
people talk very, very highly of him. So I like both. I like all three of those guys, and Chouameni as well. Obviously, signing his first deal. I'm glad they're staying, but I'm not getting too carried away because plenty of young United players sign professional contracts, and it doesn't always mean anything in particular. But it's good that they're not going, isn't it?
It's a positive one.
Yeah.
It's one of those that you're not going to be sort of running down Chester Road.
Chester Zoo.
Chester Zoo. Chanting, here we go, as you often do, Joe.
The baboon enclosure.
Exactly.
Trying not to get bitten in half.
Yeah, you know what I'm on about.
Yeah, just a bit, mate.
But we want to see these youngsters signing and committing at long-term deals and staying at Manchester United. All three of them highly rated. Teden Mengi's probably the one that's been on most people's minds. Mm-hmm. We were talking about him, me and David Pritt, on the Academy review the other day. David Pritt said he's got a touch of, not where he plays, but his attitude, a touch of the Keanos about him. And he's very vocal, sort of leads by example, a leader of men.
Speaking of Irish players.
Yes.
There's one for you right there. Perhaps United's greatest ever. Up there.
Yeah, he's up there, in my opinion. The top one. In the super chat, Zach Boy says, you doing a Paddy's Day rum down tonight, lads?
We aren't. Me drinking that Guinness is as close to that as we're going to get, I'm afraid.
And
St. Patrick's Day is sad, really, because what lockdown and COVID has really illustrated is just how much that day is centred around drinking. Because I only found out it was St. Patrick's Day today. And normally, like St. Patrick's Day, it's the biggest thing in the world. Let's go out and put tents up around the cathedral and we'll all get pissed for 3 weeks. When really, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's no like family, there's no meal element. It is just, let's wear a potentially culturally offensive hat and then go round a tent drinking booze.
Do you know what I hate is these people about, what about St. George's Day?
Yeah.
Hey,
what did he do? Do you know what
Day.
St. George did? He supposedly killed the dragons and that, which first of all, these days would be considered, I'm not going to say hate crime, but certainly animal welfare would be all over you.
Endangered species.
Sorry,
dragons.
you killed an endangered species.
Oh, what's that? There's no dragons left now because you've killed the last one. Well done.
Yeah, what is the king going to have sex with on Christmas time? You know he liked to touch a dragon downstairs. Secondly, dragons don't exist. So probably what he did, that weirdo, I bet he stabbed a dog in the head and went, I killed a dragon.
Killed a dragon.
Killed a dragon.
Hey, what have you been doing today?
Just killed a dragon.
A dragon?
Well, Yorkshire Terrier.
I didn't think they existed dragons. Are you sure?
Well,
it's definitely a dragon.
It's a Yorkshire Terrier that had been sick. It looked like fire because it had eaten loads of whatsits.
Tell you what, we'll name a day after you.
Cheers,
we'll celebrate
lad.
every year for the next
Cheers,
200 years.
And in Argos, we
2,000
used to sell
years,
sovereign rings with my name on them, my face on them, and I'm on the back of a horse stabbing a dragon in the
We'll
head.
do better than that, mate. We'll all can get our T-shirts on and we'll go down to England away and we'll sing with St. George in my heart. Keep me English.
My favourite part of that is we'll all get our T-shirts on. Which, lads, get your fucking T-shirts on. St. George needs us. Get your T-shirts on. What T-shirts? There's some.
Didn't I tell you to bring your T-shirt? What have you got a shirt on for? Go on and get changed.
It's a tunic. I thought it was tunic day. Anyway, go on.
I think we're getting to the cutting edge of these transfer stories, by the way. Paresh Shawan, forgive me if I butchered your name,
No, you got it.
says, we need Pogba to win trophies, aren't we? Interesting. We do, I think, need Paul Pogba to win trophies. If he leaves in the summer, which I think he will, then we need to sign someone else of his calibre to win those trophies.
Is there anyone in existence that matches that profile?
That will come to Manchester United Football Club?
Yeah.
No.
Right,
So that's the end of that conversation.
Cheers, lad.
I think we've said all that needs to be said. Van der Beek.
Right.
You love Van der Beek, don't you?
I do. I think he's a good player.
Yeah. No, I get where you're coming from. There was all these rumours doing the rounds that he was unhappy, that he didn't want to be here, that he didn't like
According
it.
to reports.
According to reports.
According to reports, is basically what, like, do you know if you're in the pub with your mate, or if you're just like watching telly with your sister or something?
Yeah.
You just go, oh, apparently Van der Beek's not happy. Or I heard something once that Van der Beek's not happy.
You know what, right? It's like those...
That's the journalist equivalent of that, according to reports. That's basically, I just heard something or made something up.
It's like them tweets you see even, that say, I've heard, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Could be true, could be bollocks.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that Jadon Sancho's been linked with United and could be signing this week. Don't shoot the messenger though, could be bollocks.
Yeah.
So in other words, you've just made that.
Do you know what I would say?
Like, you don't know anything.
Do you know what my sayings? I've got two sayings, Jay, basically. First of all, you're allowed to be a hypocrite. We've been over this one before. And second of all always shoot the messenger. Because you know what? Do you know what I wouldn't do, Jay? If you told me something that I knew was false, you went, go and tell Adam McCullough that his car's been turned into a brick, and if you don't get there in 8 minutes,
go and tell the village that St. George's just killed a dragon.
Yeah. Do you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't go, well, listen to this, it's probably bullshit, but here it is anyway, don't shoot the messenger. I would say, you know what? Fuck off. And if messengers are not fact-checking and curating their messages, don't shoot the messenger, always shoot the messenger. Because you know what? That'll show the person that gave the message, that'll show them that you mean business. Oh, the messenger's been shot. Of course.
What about Melinda Messenger? Does she fall into that category?
She falls into a very special category. Say no more. Move on. Fort Boyard, check it out.
Frank de Boer says, I spoke to Ajax and they said there's no truth in it. Sorry, there's no truth in it. Not there's no truth in it.
Sounds like a very sort of deep and emotional rap. Problem in the world these days, there's no truth in it. It's all just lies and deception. Come on.
He didn't ask to speak to them. He's just focusing on his recovery, on his ankle, and it's not true that he asked MUFC to leave. He's not panicking at all. He told his agent he's so happy at Man United because the club is one of the best in terms of how they treat him. He feels loved. So pretty unequivocal there, isn't it? It's like, it's not like any sort of insinuation that, maybe he's not quite as happy as he could be. He loves it. Yeah. He loves everyone. He's happy. It's all rubbish that the idea he wants to leave. And also, hasn't Donny van de Beek played like 20 games this season?
Yeah.
I know he's not started as many in the Premier League, but he's played about 20 games. He has had injury problems as well, so it's not like he's just been ignored. There's been times when we could have needed him.
Oh, like the last month when Paul Pogba was injured.
And like, we can't play Donny van de Beek because he's not fit. So, and also, when he came to United, I think me and you've discussed this several times on this show, you spend 35 million quid on a midfielder, up to 40, I think, with add-ons. You're going to get a good midfielder, but are you going to get one that is going to keep Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba out of the team?
Yeah.
Probably not. You're probably going to get a long-term answer to that. So to come in when one of those two leaves or is injured or whatever. So I think Donny van de Beek will probably have known that he was going to get used a little bit sparingly this season. He has been used enough. He's just been injured when we needed him, which is a bit of a shame. And I think people are trying to look for something that isn't there. And Frank de Boer, who's obviously close to him, has poured cold water on that transfer. We can't even call it transfer room, on that story. Yeah. And I for one believe him.
Yeah, and the thing is with this sort of thing it's not like, this doesn't even have to be true. But for me, it's nice to see someone handling a transfer or a disgruntled rumour or whatever, the way this is being handled. Because, I mean, I'm not looking at Pogba, although the Pogba situation, but Raiola, I know that Frank de Boer isn't Van de Beek's agent, of course, but the fact that he's not come out and said, well, when he plays, Deschamps used to do it, when he plays for France, he seems very happy.
Yeah.
Not say no more, like insinuate, and I know that it was twisted and whatever. But this leaves no room for twisting, no room for spin, nothing. And even if he is unhappy, even if he does want to leave, what does it hurt for him and his camp and his managers to come out and say he's fine, he's happy, he's enjoying it? It doesn't hurt anyone. And it certainly doesn't hurt his chances of playing for Manchester United. And it doesn't want all the fans, it doesn't lead to all the fans wanting him to leave Manchester United. For me, this is just the way you should deal with things all the time, whether it's true or not, which hopefully it is.
Charles Hobbs says, why doesn't Jay like Donny? I do like Donny, I just don't think he's going to get into the team at the minute. And I think when he came here, he probably expected that. I think the one area we are very strong in is that position that Donny van de Beek probably plays in terms of a sort of either box-to-box or attacking midfielder, where you've got both Pogba and Bruno, who are arguably our most talented players, in those two positions. At a time, there was a time early this season when Paul Pogba literally didn't get in the team, not because of fitness or injuries or suspension, but because of tactics, because he wasn't deemed good enough or wasn't appropriate for that game. So the idea that Donny van de Beek has been dropped or he's not wanted by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United, I think is a nonsense. I think he'll have a good career at Manchester United. I've seen enough of him to think that he's a decent player. And I think when Paul Pogba does probably move on in the summer, there's a case there that Donny van de Beek can start, getting a few more games and putting his hat into the ring to replace Paul Pogba.
And we've got a super chat from Ross Murphy. He said, Van de Beek played the same amount of games as Cancelo did for City last season, and now look at him. We should give Van de Beek time.
That's a
Definitely
great point,
give him time. And people are obsessed with, obviously Bruno was an immediate reaction, immediate response, but there's a handful. There's a wealth of players that have taken a season, 18 months, whatever, to settle in. Look at Fred, for example, who was much further down the pecking order 2 years ago than Van der Beek is now. And now look at him, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. So don't get worried about Van der Beek. He's certainly playing enough games to say that his career at United isn't over. Like, it's mad that we're talking about that already, but people want to be able to sort of hype up and circulate these rumours, which clearly aren't true. So very good.
And clearly spelt the American way, which is infuriating. Anyway, should we move on to someone whose career at United may be coming towards an end?
Oh no.
Edinson. Give it to Eddie Cavani.
This is getting tasty, this, you know.
It is getting a little bit more than just, he's got a niggle.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, for the West Ham game, there was talk that Edinson Cavani, or no, it wasn't even that, it was going back to the Milan game, I think, where there was
It looked like he was going to play, didn't it?
It looked like he was going to play. Then there was these rumours that he'd been deemed fit to play by the medical staff at Carrington or Manchester United, whichever way you want to term it, and then he'd told them he disagreed and didn't feel right. He didn't feel like he was ready to play. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sort of added a little bit of fuel to the fire if you're looking for it.
So when did he say this?
He said this, I think.
Timeline.
I think this on the weekend,
Right.
over the weekend, when he was talking about Rashford and Martial. I think this was on the weekend of the West Ham game.
Right.
And Solskjaer said, talking about Rashford coming back into the team, he said, very happy with that, of course. Anthony couldn't make it, because we know that obviously Martial didn't play against West Ham. Edinson didn't make it, so to have Marcus available is a big boost. So some people look at that and go, Anthony couldn't make it, Edinson didn't. Is he trying to sort of say, Edinson, we thought he was fit enough, but he didn't want to play. Maybe looking too much into that. But these were the sort of rumours doing the rounds, and that added a little bit of fuel to that fire, as I said. And you can see from the graphic there, United are uncertain whether to extend Edinson Cavani's contract with staff at the club. Frustrated over the 34-year-old's fitness situation. I think he missed 7 of the last 8 games. I think he has missed a big chunk. We know he had his ban, and apparently, again, some of this is rumours and conjecture. It's not sort of set in stone there. But there was sort of stories doing the rounds that he still felt unhappy about his ban.
Yeah.
He felt like he'd been sort of thrown under the bus. That had soured his move here. Then he's had injury problems. Then there's this story or rumours going around that maybe he's not willing to put his body on the line as much as we'd want him to, because he's 34 years old. This isn't going to be his last move. He's probably going to get another move somewhere or move on. And if he is, he doesn't want to move on after sort of knackering himself playing for Manchester United. So where do you stand with this, Joe? Do you believe this? Do you see there is something going on with Edinson Cavani? Because we had that thing last week as well, was it the week before, where his dad came out and said he's got a Boca Juniors, or he's going.
60% chance he's going to leave. Which, where do you get that statistic from?
And then he did an Instagram post saying, I love Manchester or whatever. And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's nonsense. Yeah, where do you stand on this one, Arke?
I don't know, because someone made a good point in the comments. He's 34, he knows his body best. And
that's a fair point.
There may be a point to that. And also, we've seen, and I'm not trying to knock our medical team here for the sake of saving Cavani any embarrassment, but we've seen players come back early, get injured again in recent seasons. I could name a handful quite comfortably. Paul Pogba being one last season, Marcus Rashford being another last season, Anthony Martial as well, I think, had a similar thing a couple of years ago where he came back and 2 or 3 days later or a week later plays one game and he's gone again, which obviously isn't the situation that you need, and maybe is a point or a guide towards we rush players back occasionally, and I know all teams do that, and it's not always possible to know the exact extent of an injury and what exactly will happen in the forthcoming match that may exacerbate or sort of, bring back an injury. But then, on the other hand, you think, we thought you were going to be back a week ago. You then missed the game at the weekend. It's now a week later, and he's just pulled out of the squad for the Europa League game tomorrow against AC Milan. You may not be back against Leicester. Then you've got another 2 weeks because it's the international break. All of a sudden, this injury that no one really even knows what it is, it will keep you out for 6 weeks. And it's like, I don't quite understand what's going on there. And I know he had his ban, which, again, seems to have soured his move to a certain extent. Obviously, if you're in a country where you think people think you're racist when you maybe aren't, I can see why that would be a difficult position to be in. So fair enough on that front. But he's also missed games before that with injury. He missed a handful of games through injury. He's then come back, done pretty well, and then he's injured again. And I just sort of think, well, if this is true, and he is sort of, we think you're injured, we think you're fine to play, I think I'm not, part of you thinks, well, what's going on here? Are you willing to push yourself for Manchester United? And if you aren't, in terms of, I know obviously long term he won't be the man, but what's the future here? Because I get that you're older, I get that your career's coming to an end, but surely you would want to push yourself for the final years. You would want to give yourself the biggest chance of winning the big trophies while you still can. Because he's not going to be winning the Champions League, in 5 years' time. If he's ever, I know he can't win it this season with United, but next season would maybe be his last ever chance to do it. So I don't know, I just think, part of you thinks, if I was Cavani, I'd be thinking, right, one last push, one last go at this. If I'm ever going to do it, if I'm ever going to really give it everything, now's the chance. And potentially that's not happening. But again, it is a little bit of conjecture. It is a little bit putting 2 and 2 together. But it didn't seem like Ole was particularly happy that he wasn't playing. Who knows how serious that will be? Who knows how that will stain or tarnish the rest of his time at United? And that remains to be seen. We may see this situation where, he plays less and less than we thought he might. When Martial's fit, who knows? But I think he's been very good so far. I just sort of thought it would be nice to hear the opposite, wouldn't it? To hear he wanted to play no matter what, he wanted to come in and do that. And for me, again, and this is going to sound stupid, and I don't always like it when people bring up the wages of players, but when it comes to an effort thing, you're getting paid enough to try as hard as you can, to push yourself as hard as you can, and if he's not doing that, it's a bit disappointing.
Carl Hagan in Super Chat says, any inside info on Mata not been named on the bench? Do you think he will be named part of the coaching staff soon enough? ?
No inside info, no. I wonder if it's an injury. I'm not sure exactly. We haven't really heard what's going on.
No, it's been weird, isn't it? Because there's been games where, and from as far as we know, Juan Mata and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Juan Mata isn't the type to spit his dummy out about not being picked or not getting enough game time, whatever. And there's been games when we could have needed him, or could have used him, where, experienced player coming in, you look at how threadbare. We've had 2 goalkeepers on the bench to make up numbers recently. So it's not like we didn't have a space for Juan Mata, who has been a good servant for Manchester United. He's up there with one of our best post-Fergie signings. He is. He really has. So I don't understand why he isn't featuring unless he's carrying a knock. Maybe he will become part of the coach staff. We'll have to wait and see. Do get involved in the comments and do hit like as well. Give us a like. There's over 780 of you watching, and I think we've done just 800 likes. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes in the next 20 minutes. United Forever podcast says, decade ago at uni, had my last presentation in Portuguese, had to hit SU bar first 2, down 4 pints of Guinness. Sorry, student union, I get it now. It's been a while since I was at uni, as you can imagine. For 4 pints of Guinness to get hat before they ran out, nailed it.
But really well done. What was the problem though? Was it some sort of, you don't remember the bars because it was prohibition when you were at college? Is that what it was?
I was like...
What was that?
During the Blitz, we weren't allowed to go out and drink dirty beer.
Yeah.
Meinl Lessie, bit of spoonerism there.
Yeah.
See what you've done?
Be careful.
Baby-faced Assassin and Cavani had a Barney because Ollie said, mate...
Cut that hair off.
You look
really
like you... But you got to cut that hair off. Try to take on Fergie's role, Cavani said cough. Well, I think you've summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Obviously, someone who's got inside information. That's potentially my feeling in the comments there.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Made all sorts of sense.
Yeah. That was like some sort of test.
Yeah, it was. Do you know when they used to do those like old British slang Facebook videos where it's like, here's what this means in Yorkshire. Yeah. You're like, right, no. And then you got some American on James Corden going, what does it mean? That was like one of those tests, wasn't it? Right, what does this sentence mean in Yorkshire? And like, I don't know, you're so wacky. Right, go on. Sorry, go on.
With the Cavani thing, it is a weird one because I do believe if a player's injured, he shouldn't play. And I think sometimes we have this sort of, and people accuse me of being woke, but I'll say it anyway. Toxic masculinity. You just play, man. What's the matter with you? Do you know what I mean? When if you are injured and you can't play, you can't play. And I've been a big advocate of Marcus Rashford not having to play when he's knackered and he's got injuries. And I think he shouldn't have to play every game just because he's a United fan who wants to do the best. If he's not fit enough, he should be dropped or rested. But if Cavani's saying I'm not 100%, then fair enough. What is frustrating though is this was kind of a little bit predictable in the sense that we wanted a striker who we could rely on to play week in, week out, someone who's a bit more long-term. We went with the cheaper option, if you can call it that, of a 33-year-old, as he was at the time, who was a free agent. We got him late, so he missed the Newcastle game. Then he comes in and gets himself banned for tweets, or no, sorry, Instagram posts.
post,
Yeah.
come on.
Then he's had this ongoing injury problem, and now there's rumours he's fell out with the coaching and medical staff. I mean, it's edging towards a bit of a disaster. And I do like Cavani when he plays, and even then, I like him, but he's not set the world alight. Let's not have the emperor's new clothes here with this guy.
Yeah.
He's done okay, right?
Yeah.
He's been a breath of fresh air in terms of we all got behind him, and Edinson Cavani chanted, and the way he sort of plays, and he's very sort of aggressive, and he's always trying, and he's non-stop running, and giving advice to younger strikers and whatnot. We all love that, but had he scored against PSG, had he scored against Arsenal, had he scored in some of the other games where he's missed some decent chances, then we've been in a lot better position. So whilst he's been a decent signing, I don't think we should get carried away and say he's set the world alight, because he hasn't.
Yeah, he's been good, and he's like you said, he's been a nice little role switcher with Martial when we've needed that. Cam, thank you. He's done a decent job, and if he could have done this for the full season, here's the thing: he's put in the sort of performance and the sort of numbers where you go, 7 goals, whatever assists. That's all right. If he'd have played every game and kept the same ratio, he'd be on 15 goals or whatever it is now, and it would look much better. He's putting in the sort of thing that, and nowhere near what Zlatan's doing at AC, but Zlatan's got, 16 goals in 21 appearances. He's like, well, that's brilliant, but we've only played 21 games. So that ratio, whilst it's great, you've actually only given your team 16 goals. He's actually only given the team 7 goals. Marcus Rashford's done that. Scott McTominay's done that. So whilst when we get all these stats up and you get the chart up that says goals or assists per minute, it looks good. Well, he's not played enough minutes for it to really affect the games. And yes, he has won a couple of games, the Southampton and the Everton ones in particular. I would say he won those almost single-handedly. But, you've got to play more minutes than this if you really want to affect the team and you really want to be a top player for United.
No, I agree completely. And it has been, we see the word there, frustrated. It's been frustrating from a fan's point of view, because he looks like the type of player that we could really get behind. I mean, I'm a bit annoyed that we might not even get to see him in the flesh, but we wanted to see more games from him. And like you say, I think he's at 18 games in the Premier League. It's not a bad return, but 6 goals, 2 assists. He's done bits, but I think maybe we were sort of expecting a little bit too much of him at his age. But it's not, it's not over yet. It's still a long way to go in the season. Who knows? He could still have a very fruitful end of the campaign.
But it will be interesting to see how his relationship with Ole and with the club pans out for the rest of the season, because I wonder if there'll be any more little remarks or not playing this game, drop from that game. It'd be interesting to see, one to watch out for.
One to watch out for, indeed. Should we talk about summer clear-out?
Oh, yes.
We have this story, don't we, every few weeks?
Yeah.
It seems that there's going to be a summer clear-out for Manchester United. Who do you reckon's going to go, Joe? If you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right?
I am.
And you're sat there
Yeah.
with your dartboard, with your players' faces on it.
Really?
Yeah, and you're decent at darts, you know what you're doing.
So I can hit who I want?
You can hit who you want. You're not like, just, shit, I've just hit bloody Bruno. Like,
oh, fuck. And I've got to sell him.
I've got to sell him now. These are the rules.
Because Mike Phelan's here.
Yeah.
I've got Matt Judge here. He's had 8 baby Guinness. He's doing shots and he's pooed himself.
He's like Alan Patterson.
I'm
confused.
Whoever you me, I'll fucking ring your agent and fuck him off. I tell him, Bruno, you can fucking stay off. Mate, what does that mean? And then the rest, mate.
Just some of the laughs we have.
Yeah. None of that.
None of that, mate.
If I have got a dartboard, though.
Yeah, go on.
Who am I throwing darts at? Is that your question?
Yes.
Jesus, it's aggressive, that, isn't it?
It is very
You framed it in a way that I want to hurt these people.
Okay. All right, let me frame it in a way of, you're playing Tiddlywinks.
Whoever you sneak up and massage is fucking off.
Yes.
So it's a nice thing to do, but there's
fun out here, bro.
Who's going? Who do I think's going?
Yeah.
I think Jesse will probably go. I think Dallo will probably go. I think Phil Jones will probably go. I think Romero will go.
Yeah.
I think... Is Pereira still on the books? He's not, is he? He left.
No,
He left.
I don't think so.
I think those 4 certainly will go. I think Cavani will go.
Yes.
And for that reason, I think that will probably be it. Because I don't think we can afford to get rid of Martial and Cavani.
Do you know, sometimes we have, and I'm not blaming anyone here, because our job is to report the news reports.
Yeah.
Sometimes
We're the messengers that you're meant to be shooting, by the way.
Yeah. Sometimes we have
I've stitched myself up
graphics
there.
and sentences and headlines where every single part of the sentence annoys the fuck out of me.
Oh,
right?
that's one.
So, for starters, you've got, and you can see it on the graphic there, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could.
Okay.
Could.
Doubt.
Could.
Instant doubt.
So he could, or he could not. So I'll tell you what, let's not do that story at all then if I'm the fucking editor of the Metro. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could burst into flames at any minute.
He could.
Or he could
Spontaneous
not.
combustion.
Yeah, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be a massive racist.
Yeah.
Or he could not be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what does that mean?
And who knows what the odds are?
Yeah.
We won't give them.
And also, it gets worse.
Go on,
could
Karen.
look. So he's not even doing anything. He can look. Is that the verb? He looked.
Yeah.
Oh, he could look.
So not only are we not certain he's going to do it,
Yeah.
but the thing that we are not certain whether he's going to do or not is think about getting rid of a player.
Yeah.
Not even getting rid of him.
It's like he could look to offload
Jesse
Lingard. Oh, and that's a riveting story. There's a revelation for you.
Yeah.
Juan Mata, Diogo Dalot and Phil Jones, right, to add to his £80 million summer budget, which they've just plucked out of the air as well, let's face facts there. And then the bit that he tops up is the Metro. So, yeah, it just annoys me. That.
Pinardo says, Jay, do you kiss your mum with that mouth?
I've not kissed my mum all week. And
if you don't kiss her with that mouth, what do you kiss her with?
I've got a lad who comes in and I use his mouth for that.
Mum, close your eyes. I'm coming in for a big kiss. Don't open them. Darren, quick.
Yeah,
Darren,
go on,
get
quick,
in.
go on, son. Right, off you go.
I've done you a favour there, Mum. I won't kiss you with this mouth. I say all sorts of bastard swear words. So we could look to offload Jesse Lingard, Juan Mata, Diogo Dalot and Phil Jones to add to his £80 million summer budget. First of all, £80 million summer budget, that's news to me.
Yeah, it's just, someone is in a, well, I wouldn't say
In a well.
In a pub, yeah, in a well, levered on cider, going, I've got to file a story here, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer,
Someone is in a conservatory in Weast.
Yeah.
Screaming.
We don't have conservatories in Weast.
What do you have? Shed.
Yeah. Someone's in the shed in Weast going, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could look to offload a load of players who are probably leaving anyway to add to his £80 million budget.
This £80 million budget, though, I think that's probably come from, when you look at United's sort of net spend over the last few years, it does tend to be around 80
That's
to
what I mean. It's not the most ridiculous thing. It's just that is a proper beige, play both sides of the argument, or not even play both sides of the argument, covering your bases, if you want to use an analogy, sentence, headline that just doesn't mean anything. It's just like, you know, he could or he could not, and all these players that have always been linked with the move, they could be going. Yeah. Well, what do you do?
I think he probably is planning a summer clear out.
Yeah.
He's had a bit of a summer clear out every year he's been here. He tries to get rid of players and has got rid of players very quickly when you think about it.
Phil Jones has been linked with a move since before he arrived. I mean, that's one that we always have. The problem we've got with Phil Jones is obviously he's on big money and he's made of glass at the minute. His injuries are ongoing. Jesse looks like it could be making his move to, I was going to say Upton Park then, the London Stadium, permanent. He's obviously on fire over there, loving his football again. They're loving him. Maybe that could be, if you want to be a bit sort of optimistic, maybe that could be a part of the Declan Rice transfer to United. I doubt it though, if I'm being brutally honest. Burnside is back in the Super Chat. Says, so goals per game doesn't matter for 18 games. What else would you judge him on in 18 games? Does he miss that Rashford header at the weekend? Question mark. I don't think he misses that Rashford header, but he couldn't take it because he was injured. I think the main gripe we've got isn't the fact of goals for games. The thing is with goals for games, right? I get where you're coming from because I've used stats and I'll say, oh, Marcus has got 17 goals and 10 assists or whatever. So, you know, But it's the fact that he's missed some games and also some of the chances I'd expect him to have taken. The one at the Emirates, I think a player of his quality for that sort of chance, he had two. One of them was a sitter for me. I'd have thought he'd have taken it.
And,
So it's not a case of, is his return bad? I think 6 goals and 2 assists in 18 Premier League games isn't terrible. It's fine.
No, I'm not saying...
Especially when you look at the likes of Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood in terms of their productivity, their numbers. But it's just the nature of those stats and how they came back. You said Everton and Southampton. Yeah, you're right. He did. He got important goals in there. But when was that? What's happened in the last 2 months? He barely played.
Yeah.
That's my main issue.
That's the thing.
He's not playing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying goals per game doesn't matter.
No,
but I'm saying if you aren't playing, then that is as good as not doing anything. Like, he's played okay when he's been on. He's done good stuff, but he's not playing enough games at the moment. That's it.
I think I agree with that.
18 appearances isn't enough.
No.
You've missed 10 games. Which is, you've missed a quarter of the season through injury or suspension already. You've got to be on the pitch to help the team win, and if you're not, then it doesn't really matter. Goals per game, whatever. If you're not there, you can't help us win, and he's not been there enough.
It's funny how he sort of divides opinion a little bit.
I really like Cavani, by the way.
No,
I think he's been good, and I
do.
think I would have him as the #1 striker when he's fit, all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the negative side. There's a lot of positives with him. I think he's been very good, and any of this off the field, not that bothered, don't want to come back from injury too quick stuff, has never shown itself on the pitch. Application, all that, I'm very happy with him. But yeah, he's not played enough for one reason or another.
No, I completely agree. That's the main sort of worry I have. I just lost a sec. James Clancy says you cannot deny Cavani's passion and commitment whenever he plays, worth another year. And then Manchester United clips, he's refusing to play. Someone else asking, did Ole and Cavani fall out? We're not really sure. It looks like there may be sort of something going on there. Burnside is back in the super chat as well, says fair dues. Thank you for that. And Nashville, I get it, he says, let's not jump to conclusions based on media conjecture. That's a fair point, but I think it's worth discussing. You know, we'll wait and see what happens. Like we said, you know, there's nothing, it might be that everything's rosy. He's just genuinely, he feels in his own body that someone else pointed out he knows himself better than anyone else.
Got bad legs.
Yeah, I feel it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Or there might be something else to it, but we'll wait and see. I'm sure whatever the issue or non-issue is will come out. I hope he's back for the Leicester game at the weekend. He's obviously not gone to Milan because we need him. Talking of stories that are definitely going to happen, Cristiano Ronaldo.
There he is.
He's coming home, isn't he, this summer?
I don't know why I wouldn't.
Exactly.
It's not like these rumours have ever happened before.
No, I've never heard this story before in my life. This is the first time we've ever seen those words, the return of Cristiano Ronaldo.
To be honest, I didn't even know we'd sold him. I just thought he'd been on the bench for ages. I've heard so few rumours about him coming back, sorry. I just assumed he was still here, just playing in the reserves. Well, obviously he has moved, and if you're looking at the badge there...
It's Italy.
Italy.
He's gone to
so
Italy.
So he's playing for Italy now.
Or maybe he's
Portuguese.
playing for Milan.
Maybe he's playing for Milan.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It
nice
would be lovely. But yeah, these rumours are always going to be there, and this is Tutto Sport. Portugal forward Cristiano Ronaldo. Ever heard of him? I love how they say Portugal forward instead of like internationally renowned megastar. Like
Portugal, instead of just saying Cristiano Ronaldo.
Which Cristiano Ronaldo? The picture, the description, and the fact it's fucking Cristiano Ronaldo aren't quite enough for me. And what they've ruined as well is, you know, with journalists and newspapers, what they tend to do is they'll call him Cristiano Ronaldo, 36, and the next time they refer to him, they don't want to keep saying Cristiano Ronaldo. So they'll say the tricky winger, and then the next time they'll say Portugal forward, and the next time they'll say goal-scoring heartthrob or something. The longer the article, the faster they run out of descriptions for people. So I'm surprised they used Portugal forward, because that could have been a second descriptive if they'd have wanted it. It's more likely to rejoin Manchester United.
I'm surprised as well, in that vein, they used 36 as well straight away.
Yeah.
Because further down, they could have gone the 36-year-old.
Yeah.
Has told friends.
Yeah.
He's keen on a move back to Manchester United or whatever. So you're
that.
right there. That's a good point. Yeah, they've just proper got in.
He's more likely to rejoin Manchester United than return to Real Madrid if he leaves Juventus this summer. Now, if we go back to J. Motti's method of analysing a headline, first of all, is more likely, again, based on what? To rejoin Manchester United than return to Real Madrid. Okay, so it's not that he's likely to join United, it's that he's more likely to join us than one other club of all the clubs. So there's us, and then there's every other club.
Yeah.
Oh no, us, Madrid, every other club. We're more likely to do this one than this one. Don't know about this. No mention of any other clubs. If he leaves, which he hasn't even fucking left. He hasn't said he's leaving. There's not a rumour he's leaving. But if he does, he's more likely to do this one than this one or all of these ones. Jay, I'm sweating out my back reading this.
I'm more likely to play for Manchester United than become heavyweight champion of the world.
That's true.
Because, you know, neither are going to happen.
No.
But, you know, one could be more likely in this, you know, even though it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just nonsensical.
Enough of that mockery.
Yes.
Do you want him?
Do you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do. I've got to be honest with
deal.
you. The romantic in me says, he comes back, fans are back in the ground, and even if you're not back in the ground, even if you can't get to Old Trafford, you're out in your street, wherever you live. Yeah? Singing Viva
like
Ronaldo.
It's the Jubilee.
Yeah, like bunting out and all that, eh? He's coming home. Viva Ronaldo, whatever you want to say. Yeah, whatever your favourite preferred chant is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'd just be party time, wouldn't it? It'd just be amazing.
Savage has just been sent off for Atletico Madrid. Just
Atletico Madrid are having an absolute stinker.
Yeah.
Derek Kenny says, I want Ronaldo back just for his mentality around the likes of Greenwood. Imagine being Mason and coming in to see a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner has been training already for 2 hours. 22 says, this is my favourite comment of the evening. Luke Shaw lives in his old house.
That seems like one of those, people on Twitter are always like, rent-free, living rent-free. I reckon Luke Shaw's living rent-free in Cristiano Ronaldo's old house. And it's not even some comment on whether Cristiano Ronaldo thinks about Luke Shaw or is bothered by him. I reckon he just does. Tell you what, I live rent-free in your fucking head, mate. Well, Luke Shaw lives rent-free in Cristiano Ronaldo's house. And that's a fact. So get over yourself.
22 said, thinks he rents it off him, to be fair.
Oh, so not rent-free. My mistake. He does live in his house, but it's not rent-free. He's
If he's
paying
going
rent.
to be giving his house rent-free to someone, he give it to us.
Yeah, because normally, do you know when someone's in my head, they pay me rent? The descriptor that really makes sense is rent-free. Because usually, to be in someone's mind full time, you're paying for that. You're paying for that. Andreas just got an assist versus Bayern from a free kick.
Nice.
Only 6-2 to Bayern now.
Oh, that came on.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all to play for. I think the next goal could be crucial in that one.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted.
But Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't look likely. But obviously, if anything does come of it, if it does keep going on, we'll be giving you updates. We're giving you reports on that. For me, I don't think it's impossible he rejoins United. I don't think it's likely, but it makes a bit of sense in the world of football in terms of who's got money, what do we need at the club. He's played for us before. There is a romance to it all. He's played with Ole as well. That's not an impossible story for me, but at the minute it doesn't look likely.
No, I think, you file it under unlikely, don't you? Stranger things have happened, as they say. But yeah, I don't see it happening, to be honest with you. We've had this so many times. Do you remember the Bring Him Home campaign? I remember when this channel first started, there was a Bring Him Home campaign that turned out to be somewhat questionable.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's this company that were like, bring Ronaldo home, and basically what you did was they were trying to almost crowdfund it, but not crowdfund it. It was like you bought a shirt, a United shirt, and the money went into this kitty to raise 100 million, which is what it was at the time, to bring Ronaldo home.
And
right?
if they don't, let's say they raise 6 million,
Yeah.
who the fuck's keeping that cash?
It's like, it was nonsense, and they had Save the Children and World Wildlife Fund on the website. I remember, because I was a bit of a journalist at the time, I messaged these charities and they said, we've got no idea.
I was going to say, World Wildlife Fund, they're like, you know what we need? Pandas,
Yeah.
White Rhino, Ronaldo back at Old Trafford. That's the three. That's the pillars of our organisation.
Rocky says, will you sell Martial for Ronaldo?
I'd straight swap them.
I don't think that's going to happen, mate. I don't know. Maybe Juve might be tempted. I doubt it, though. I very much doubt it. Yeah, Ronaldo comes home, it'll be party time, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Yep. Talking of big moves, Paul Pogba. PSG interested in Paul Pogba, which is the most sort of unsurprising news, I think, of the day.
This
kind of makes sense, doesn't it? PSG got loads of money. He's French. They're French.
He is French. They are French. If I have to agree
that
with you,
guy,
I will agree with you.
What?
France. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
This is one where you sort of go, yeah, that works. If he's going to leave, I would say we've got the obvious Juventus, Real Madrid,
Yes.
PSG, and then your outside options, Bayern Munich, Barcelona.
And
then your very outside options, Chelsea and City. Other than that, he can't go anywhere else.
No.
There are no other clubs that have the money to do a Paul Pogba type move, and also no other clubs that really have the worldwide prestige and viewership and audience that a player of Paul Pogba's marketability and therefore Raiola's sort of marketability would go to. I don't think he would go. Let's say, he would never go to China. He would never go to somewhere like that.
What is he, 28
Even if
now?
they gave him £2 million quid a week, he would. I know the rules in China have changed, but my point is, he's going to a big club to increase his brand, to increase his marketability. There's no way he's going to go anywhere else. If he's going to leave, I think it's Juventus or PSG. For me, that would be the most obvious options. And there you see it there. This is Foot Mercato saying Paul Pogba is on PSG's list of transfer targets and the league. Thoughts? Do you like the way I've said it?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
like it.
The league club have made contact with a 27-year-old midfielder's agent.
Oh, sorry, 27. I thought it was 28. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I still think he's going. I know some people are holding out and hoping that he'll sign a new deal. There was talk of him signing a new deal because the seasons he's had before his injury. Again, no, I know I sound like a broken record. My only sort of gripe with Paul Pogba, and I don't mind, like I don't buy into this idea he don't want to play when he's injured and all. There's something wrong with his attitude. Oh, it says that Lewis Johnson is 28. But the problem we've got is that he is injured quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Last 18 months?
Yeah, he's missed a lot of games, shall we say, in the last 18 months. Not that he's injured a lot, but over the last 18 months, he has missed a lot of football. Going back to the season we finished second behind City, he missed a chunk of the season then, didn't he, that really sort of cost us. I mean, it cost us a title challenge, but certainly cost us points. Came back, did really well. Then, obviously, last season, he missed a massive amount of the season. Months and months. So, and then this season, he obviously got COVID, which is not his fault. There's a pandemic. I love that. He's 28 till he turns 29. Well done. But then he comes back, picks up this thing. There's a thigh strain against Everton on it. And now his injury seems to just be sort of one of those where you're not quite sure when he's going to come back. It looked like it was going to be a couple of weeks. Then, as you mentioned earlier, it's sort of one of those, isn't it, where you're going, oh, when's he back? Oh, I'm not sure. That's when alarm bells start ringing, especially for a player that potentially has got, 3 months left at the club, or if that, 2 months left or whatever it is. Yeah, we need to see Paul Pogba back playing for Manchester United. But, as I was saying earlier, my point is, we've just missed too much of him. He's just missed a lot of football recently. And I think there's the stories about him going and the fact he said it himself, Raiola said it. I think he is going to go in the summer, so if he does go, I at least hope we can pull PSG's pants down and get a shitload of money for him.
Yeah, it would just be like Manchester United, wouldn't it, to go to the club that have spent who have made the 2 biggest transfers in football history in Neymar and Mbappe. We go to them trying to get a bit of money out of them, and they get him for 45 million quid. That would just be United, wouldn't it? Something you said before, which isn't football related, you said it's like a broken record, isn't it? And I think, Jay, we may be approaching the average age of people where you have to explain what that means. Because old records with a little needle, when they would break, obviously,
Yeah, obviously.
Go on.
They would sort of repeat.
Yeah, skip and repeat.
Repeat.
Saying you sound like a broken record for anyone who's under the age of maybe even 20, if we're honest, means that it repeats and repeats and repeats.
Yeah.
Cam didn't know that.
Did you not know that, Cam? Producer Cam said he didn't know it.
It meant something, but I didn't know the right.
He didn't know the etymology of it. Cam's 22, and he didn't know. So
maybe,
that's the age we live in, Jay.
Sorry if I sound like a broken download.
Oh, yes! Sorry if I sound like an error exporting the zip file. Probably. Something like that. Sorry if I sounded like a streaming
a 404
error.
message.
Yeah, nice. This guy webs. Right, what's next? What's next on the docket?
On the docket is press conference. Ole had his press conference today, get my words out, said some words.
Go on.
In a particular order. As you can see, that's not even Ole, that's Marcus Rashford. Sorry. Marcus Rashford was the player that was put up at the press conference, and he said...
Would you wish... In the European games and internationals, they often do it as well, they'll have a player with the manager answering questions. Do you wish to do that in the Premier League? Do you like that? Does it add anything for you?
I've done it a few times when I've been at these press conferences, and I know it's the most obvious of the obvious things to say, but I'll say it anyway.
Say it.
It all depends on the player.
Right.
Because sometimes they'll literally, like the club don't give a toss, and they'll go, right, okay. I think there was one for City. Was it El Equilim Malanga? Do you remember him? They put him up Mangala, sorry. That's how memorable it was. I was there. And it was like, why is he up? He's not played all season. They put him up. There's another one, United. I remember Romero doing it once. I think Martial's done it. He was quite good, wasn't he? Because he gave us all that meme. Remember that meme where he's like that?
No.
Oh, I'll find it for you.
Send it me.
I will.
Go on, what's he said then? For God's sake, you and your memes.
He says, Marcus Rashford says, the aim from when we get kicked out of the Champions League, the focus was to win Europa League. We won't be happy with anything less than that. Quite interesting, that, isn't it? Because Ollie's caused a bit of a stir or a debate on social media because he was sort of saying about how trophies don't indicate progress, do they? He's saying, like, trophies aren't always the be-all and end-all in terms of progress. You can show progress by your league position, and then it's sparked this debate, people saying, well, have Arsenal progressed? They won the FA Cup, but they're sat in 10th. So is that them doing well? Is that them progressing under Mikel Arteta? Where if Ole was to finish second this season, not win anything, is that progression because he's finished in a league place higher? Or is it all about silverware? Joe Smith, where do you stand on this?
I know what Ollie's saying, and I don't think it's quite.
Here we go.
I don't think it's quite to the extent of Pochettino, who sort of was like, "We don't care about trophies." He's made it clear. He said in there that trophies come. The good thing about progression is you end up with trophies.
Yeah.
He's still putting trophies as the end goal.
Yeah.
Just not if we win the Europa League, bang bang, United's back. Do you know what I mean? That's all he's saying. He said about progression and leads to trophies, ends in trophies, which is exactly what you want to hear.
The full quote is there. You can see it says, the cups are sometimes an ego thing for managers and clubs. Yeah. It's not like a trophy will say, we are back. No, it's gradual progression at the top of the league. Yeah. Sometimes the cup competition can hide your progress a bit. I kind of get where he's saying that. And listen, I'm very grateful that we won trophies under certain managers. Post-Fergie, the FA Cup, Van Gaal didn't really get anything. You couldn't tell anything of him because he got sacked the day after he won it. Jose obviously focused on trophies in his first season. Yeah, United way. He went for the Europa League almost from January, didn't he? Started resting players in the league, went for it and got it right. He won it, so I get that. But I don't think that is. If we, for example, had won the League Cup this season and finished 8th, would we all be sat here going, "Oh well, that's progress because Ollie's won a trophy"?
No.
We wouldn't. So, yes, trophies should always be the end goal, but as Ollie said, I kind of get that.
Because the thing with progress is, trophies can be I think he's talking about everything other than the league, isn't he? Because you can't win the league without progress.
No.
What he's talking about there is, like he said, it's gradual progression at the top of the league. When trophies are being an ego thing, if we win the league, he's not saying the league doesn't matter, let's not focus on the league. What he's saying is, we need to get to the point where we are winning the league. So it's not particularly controversial for me at all. We all know what he means. We all know what he's saying. If there's anyone out there that thinks Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't want to win trophies for Manchester United, then where have you been for the last 25 years? Because that's clearly not the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer we all know on the pitch or off the pitch. So we know what he means, and I agree with him.
Yeah, I want to see him win a trophy. Obviously, that's the most obvious statement ever. But it'd be great for him to win a trophy as well, because no one's going to be going, "Oh well, he got us a third," 10 years from now. Yeah. But they will be going, "Oh, he lifted the FA Cup or whatever with us." So hopefully we can get some silverware. And I, for one, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I would definitely take the Europa League as
Chelsea.
They've just scored a late goal. I mean, that was already done anyway.
Yeah. Atletico needed 2 goals in about a minute and a half, and Chelsea got the other one. To be fair, I'll tell you what. Go on. Chelsea have played really well, but Atletico have been massively underwhelming in both legs. Yeah. And I don't really care. I don't want Chelsea to win it, but if it stops City winning it, I could work that out in my head. The worry for me is, who's going to stop City? Because I don't think Chelsea are.
Do you think in a one-off, well not a one-off, maybe with 2 legs, that someone like Scousers could do it? If they got
I think an English team might have a better chance. I think an English team might have a better chance. If they got their act together slightly, I know they've been dreadful this season, but you never know in these cup competitions. I mean, Bayern, of course, are the obvious one, but you're putting it all down to one team, which they may play in a one-off game in the final.
It's just horrible.
I don't like that.
It's just horrible. We've also got some more quotes, I think, from Marcus Rashford.
Yes.
He's been talking about his injuries, or the fact he's been playing for injuries. He said, "I know my body and what I can do physically."
Stop there. Doesn't that sound like an interview for working at some sort of sexy parlour?
Yeah.
Marcus, tell us why you want the job. Well, first of all, I know my body and what I can do physically. If you text that to someone and your missus saw that text, we'd be finished. I know my body and what I can do physically. Send. Jesus, Marcus.
I would start at 11 o'clock at night and finish at 6 in the morning. We like to get as many punters in as we can. I know my body and what I can do physically. Get him in, kid. Don't you worry about me, son.
Yeah, I take them one at a time. No, sorry, I take it one game at a time. It's the life of a footballer. We can rest when we retire. I want to play as many games as I can. I have no doubts or fears going into games. What interesting thing for me there, we can rest when we retire. Maguire said that last week. Is this like a little club motto? Hey, it's a bit, I'll sleep when I'm dead, isn't it?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
You're going to bed, Bolt. I'll sleep when I'm fucking dead. One more, darling. Yes, Tetley's.
We can rest when we retire.
Yeah.
I think, or do you reckon Marcus just copied his own word? He said, "Rest when we retire."
What's that, Mark? What's that? Harry, that's all right, that.
Rest when we retire.
Yeah.
I might say that, yeah.
What do you think about that? I know you've had fears in the past of him going down a road where he's constantly on the brink of an injury, constantly playing through a niggle, a knock, a pull, a tear.
Yeah.
And, you know, by the time he's 28, 30, he may have to retire early. Do you know what I mean? Like, where do you draw the line?
This is one of the things that worries me the most about what's been going on with Manchester United, because we have underinvested and we're over-reliant on certain players, especially Marcus Rashford. And it really frustrates me because he gets so much stick sometimes, Marcus Rashford. And I don't think people give him enough credit for the fact that he's always putting his body on the line. And his game relies so much on, obviously, he's got bags of talent. He's incredibly skillful, but he's also rapid. He's so fast. Did you see the move with Mason Greenwood at the weekend?
Yeah.
Where he lays it off to him. Mason Greenwood was 19-year-old running full pelt, and Marcus overtakes him at one point.
Yeah,
it's
ridiculous.
Like, you know, between the two, and so fit, and that is a big part of his game. And if you just take a little bit of that away from a player, we saw it with Michael Owen when he was 24, 25. I know we got him after that. But at 18, 19, Michael Owen looked like he was going to be one of the greatest players ever play football. I know it sounds ridiculous, but he won the Ballon d'Or around the age of 21, didn't he, or something? And then he got a few injuries, and he just wasn't the same player. And it worries me that Marcus is sort of heading down that same way. I'm not seeing the signs of that, but it worries me a lot, the fact that he's constantly playing through the pain barrier. And sometimes I think Ole needs to protect Marcus Rashford from himself.
And one of the things that happened with Michael Owen, and I think he said this, or it certainly reported and remarked on at the time, was what happens when you're injured and let's say you've got a bit of an ankle, or your calf's a bit sore, or your hip's not right, or whatever. You end up putting stress on other parts of your body to sort of take weight and strain off of the injury. So stuff like, oh, my ankle's hurting, so what I'm doing is I'm sort of turning my foot this way a bit so that I'm not putting the weight on the outside of the ankle. Well, all of a sudden, you're putting stress on your knee, and now you're more likely to have an injury or a career-ending injury that, you know, you don't come back from. Michael Owen, he had all these injuries, calf, ankle, whatever it was, but it was his knee injury where his knee sort of crumpled underneath him on the touchline. That's what really was the beginning of the end for him physically. Like, it's, you know, these little bits he can play through, but when you're putting stress and you're turning differently, or your walk is slightly different because you've got there's back injuries, there's knee injuries, there's all sorts of things that can come from that. So he needs to be careful, and like you said, when we're counter-attacking, I think one of the reasons that he gets so many goals against the big teams and always has is because he's so good at counter-attacking, which you're more likely to do against big teams who have more possession. Point. And a lot of that is because of his speed, like I said, and his touch and lots of things, but his speed, and that's the one thing you don't want him to lose, certainly any earlier than he has to. So hopefully this isn't a sign of him saying, I'm playing through injuries, but what are you going to do? Hopefully it's more of, I feel good and I don't even worry about any of that.
I know, you know, I don't want to sound, again, like a broken download, but
it
is lack of investment. We shouldn't be relying on him so much. We should have had a striker or a winger like a Jadon Sancho and Erling Haaland. So we've not, though. We've got a Cavani who's not fit, and now we've got to play Marcus into the ground because we've got owners who are knobheads.
I don't want to sound like a broken download. The reason that doesn't work because when you download something that's got like an error message, it doesn't just skip and repeat and repeat. I like the modern day references.
Don't want to sound like a broken, you know, modem.
Nice. This is a very modern man. I don't want to say, some broken TikTok. Some broken mind satellite, probably. Right, what we got next? What's next, boys?
We've also got Ole at the on the San Siro.
What is this? Some jaunty shot on a documentary about
San
Italian football?
Siro is never full.
The San Siro is the biggest stadium in mainland Europe. It's never full though, is it?
No, unless it's home to Manchester United. Ole said, when it's full, it's an amazing place to play. Unfortunately, we're going to be playing in a very different atmosphere. We're going to familiarise ourselves with the stadium tonight. Have a little walk around.
Worth mentioning maybe, because this is probably the last time any of these players will play at the San Siro, other than Dallo, obviously. It is being knocked down, isn't it? And being replaced with a new ground. One of the great grounds in history, football history, certainly Italian football history. Any at all emotion toward the San Siro? Do you care about it? Home to one of United's great nights, of course, against Inter Milan in 1999.
Yeah, obviously it's an iconic stadium, but I think I've spoke about this with Old Trafford and should United move and things like that. And I think that when you're a club like Milan or Inter or whatever, if you move to a different stadium or your stadium gets rebuilt or whatever, the history goes with you.
Do you think?
I really do think that. And I know people have said this, we've had this debate about Old Trafford, and I'm saying because it's fallen apart and it's like, should we rebuild it? Should we build another stadium somewhere else? And people go, you can't knock down Old Trafford, but look at the history. But I think the issue goes, if you look at Bayern Munich with Allianz Arena, it's still Bayern Munich, it's still iconic, it's still got all that history. You don't just lose that because you're in a new stadium. So, yeah, it is one of the iconic stadiums in world football, but I'm not emotionally attached to bricks and mortar.
And Bayern Munich are very much one of the few clubs with genuine sort of elite history that have had a new stadium. A lot of the other teams, no offence, West Ham, Tottenham.
Stoke.
I mean, Arsenal are borderline,
Sunderland.
but, you know, come on, a lot, Rotherham. A lot of the clubs that have had these new stadiums don't have the sort of history that Man United, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid have. So, I mean, like I said, it's gone with them. Personally, I wouldn't want Old Trafford to get knocked down.
Yeah.
I know that's not what we're talking about at all here, but...
No, I get that, and I know for a fact I'm in the minority with that opinion.
Yeah.
Whenever I mention it, people are like, what are you talking about, Jay? It's iconic, you can't do that. All the history, everything else, but it's just, I just think that if we could have I just think a stadium that's fit for purpose, if that was somewhere else on Old Trafford, I wouldn't be against that. Peter Kelly in the Super Chat says, would you rather sign Sancho and Ronaldo or Haaland and Rafinha off Leeds? That's a good question. I like it.
I don't know, but Sancho and Ronaldo, innit?
Al Mercedes said Main Road in the chat like that.
Sancho and Ronaldo for me.
Because
you're getting two world-class players.
For me, the one with Haaland in. Any combination that's got Haaland in.
I reckon that might be Ole's choice as well.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Mate, if we get Haaland, 21 is coming. Trust me.
You think?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's... If you added, right, if he was playing for United now, you could easily add 20 goals into this team.
Let's be conservative and say 20.
20, right? How many more points is that in the Premier League?
Half a dozen at least. At least half a dozen.
So now we're what? A point behind City or 5 points behind them, at least.
Yeah.
That's a title challenge.
Yeah.
That's a completely different conversation than City can just rest players, can take the foot off. Doesn't matter.
I reckon we'd still be in the Champions League as well. We needed one win from our last 3 games. You don't think he would have helped us get that?
Oh, you know what I mean? Exactly. Do you think he, misses chances against PSG or whatever? So, yeah, definitely. If anything with...
Sorry, 1 point from our last 2 games, not 1 win. 1 point from our last 2 games.
I get, yeah.
We did 4 points from 4 games and we didn't get it. Haaland would have made the difference.
If we can get Haaland, just do it, man.
Yes.
And according to latest reports, Haaland is United's priority signing. Yeah. We've been over and over this, but I'll briefly go on about it. Briefly talk about it. Manchester United have settled on Erling Haaland as their centre forward priority in the transfer market, despite mounting competition for the Borussia Dortmund goal scorer. I read somewhere else that Roman Abramovich has made him his priority. I think Bayern Munich have been sniffing around him because they like to occasionally buy players from Borussia Dortmund. When I say occasionally, I mean like every season, every time Dortmund have a decent player. You can see stats there.
See, that's more like it. And I'm not saying Cavani's at United is meant to be anything like that, but I'm talking more 30 appearances and just a good amount of goals alongside that. And he's had injuries this season. Yeah. He's not injury-free by any means, but he's still got them 31 goals. And 8 assists as well, which I think would make him our 3rd highest assister and comfortably our biggest goal scorer, obviously.
And also, it's worth noting there, you can say, well, German football, this, that and the other. Dortmund 5th. Yeah. So it's not like he's in a team where you're just steamrolling over everyone. No. He's in a team that have struggled at times. Yeah, he still manages to get absolutely stratospheric number of goals. So if we can get Haaland, then just whatever it takes is my opinion. And if he goes to City, then I'll just say I always thought he was shit.
Imagine if they get Haaland and Messi this summer.
Don't. Seriously. If they were to get one of them, I'd much rather they got Messi. I never thought I'd say that, but I would. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they got Messi, I'd be like, I could be okay with that. Yeah. It's if they got Haaland and Messi, then it's time to take up watching something else. Milenkovic. Yeah. You like this guy, don't you? Is this the guy from Fiorentina?
Yes.
If you don't know anything about him, then I'll tell you. Oh, now I've lost my tab, so actually I won't.
Go on. Get it typed in,
I can do this. I can do this. Yeah, really quickly. Nikola Milenkovic. He's 23 years old.
Very good.
Plays for Fiorentina. He's a centre back, is he? Yes, he is. Oh, he can also play right back. There you go. See? And he comes from Serbia. Ilmedia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another centre back. Another young centre back we've been linked with. I'm running out of...
Who is it that's linking us with him? Do we know? We're about to be told. There you go, the Express. Thoughts?
The way you said the Express summed up the validity of the story.
Express.
You said it like...
Manchester United have initiated talks. Yeah, but Jay, for the first time tonight, what have we got? Have initiated talks.
All right, I'll give you that, yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
According to reports! We thought we had it. We thought we had a story. Man United have initiated talks with Nikola
And it gets worse. Go on, keep going.
According to reports, it is claimed. I'm going to bite my own cheese. It is claimed Fiorentina are ready to let their prized asset go for a fee. For a fee of 30 million, which, in case you don't fucking know, Jay, you big idiot, which is relatively cheap in today's world.
I'll say that right now, 100% nailed on, word count. He needs to hit some targets with his word count. So he's added on, or she has added on, which is relatively cheap in today's world.
Sorry, that's a proper sixth form thing to write, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is relatively cheap in today's world.
You're like, I finished, I filed it. No. You what is it?
Yeah, you've got
8 words, whatever.
Yeah,
short.
you've done 992 words here.
Yeah, we need a 8 words. All right, which is relatively cheap in today's world.
Yeah.
know.
We still need 3 more. If you ask me. Send, submit, perfect. He's a player that we have been linked with, and here's the thing, and I say this most weeks, but it's worth mentioning because in the office, when you talk to your mates, when we read the comments, when you go on Twitter, everywhere is filled with, well, we're not going to get him. Why would he come to United? What are you going after him for? We're not going to spend that money, etc., etc., etc. You see it all the time. Of anytime someone gets mentioned, everyone is so fast to blast it away. He wouldn't come. We're not going to spend that. What makes you think this? Why wouldn't he join them? Every single summer, United sign players. And I know last summer was a bit tricky and a bit shit in terms of the actual amount of money we spent. But we were linked up with Bruno for ages. Why would he join United? We've signed him. Paul Pogba, the same thing. Maguire, the same thing. United do sign players. And some of these people that we're being linked with will join Manchester United because not only do we do sign players, we don't sign people generally that sort of sneak up on you. United's big signings are usually known for a couple of months. I mean, Van der Beek kind of snuck up on us, but we were actually doing reports on him last April that United were interested.
Yeah.
And it happened very quickly. But we will sign someone, and we will know about it in advance. So it's worth keeping up to date with these things. It's worth watching and reading what's going on because it's going to be some of these people that we do end up signing because that's just how football works. So still worth keeping an eye on and worth paying attention to, I think.
Does it on that story? Does it concern you slightly that Fiorentina are obviously struggling bottom half of the table?
Yeah.
And it's not the greatest league in the world, is it?
No.
Serie A. Is that a slight concern, or do you think, well, you could have said that about Van Dijk at Southampton or whatever? I know it's different levels, but
I would say you could have said that about Van Dijk. There's always good players in bad teams.
No, I agree. I've often said that about us not looking at the lower end of the table enough.
Yeah, and the inverse of that, there are often bad players hidden in good teams that sometimes, no, I'm not to call anyone out. Danny Drinkwater, for instance, one of the better players for a team that won the Premier League, goes to Chelsea, can barely get a game.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
And he's one of many examples, not to sort of single out Danny Drinkwater because he's not a particularly bad player, but there are always good players in bad teams. There are always bad players in good teams. So someone like him could well do the job for United.
I think there's just going to be so many rumours going around with centre backs. We obviously are in the market for a centre back because so many of ours.
Oh shit!
Yeah, not that we've got Eric Bayer's always injured.
Yeah.
Vince Lindov doesn't look like the perfect foil for Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's going nowhere. We spent 80 million quid on him. He's our captain, so just get out your heads. So it's about getting a player in who can come and play alongside Harry Maguire. So it looks like we may be going for someone like Milinkovic. Thank you.
Scrappy Dude just says, would you be surprised if we made absolutely no signings? Yes, I would. I can't think of a time when that's happened.
I don't think we can make absolutely no signings, even though I don't rate these owners at all. And I think the parasites. I think the idea of us not buying anyone would just be, it'd be too much. It would. I mean, I don't think, even from a sort of a business point of view, if you're trying to get sort of sponsorship deals and if you're trying to maintain any sort of level of competitiveness, you can turn around and say, well, we're not buying anyone this summer, but come and sponsor us. We're still a great brand. Come and watch us. We're one of Europe's biggest clubs. It'd be like, no, well, you're obviously not. You've obviously given up. That's 2 steps away from asset stripping now.
Do you know the billion quid they've taken out of the club in the last 15 years?
Don't make me cry.
Imagine we'd spent, let's say, 750 million of that on players and 250 million on infrastructure and rebuilding and repairing and upgrading Old Trafford. Imagine where the club could be now. Very sad to think about that, isn't it? Sorry, Jay.
It's all right, mate. This is just like history repeating itself again. Another player we've been linked with, because we've not had enough centre-back links with players from Serie A, is Gianluca Mancini. United target bargain defender. Manchester United and Chelsea are both targeting a move for Roma defender Gianluca Mancini. The Italian defender has impressed in Serie A this campaign, proving effective at both ends of the pitch for Paulo Fonseca's side. Again, don't know a lot about this kid. I'm not going to pretend I do. I think he's got 5 goals.
How old is he?
He is 24 years old.
Interesting.
So he's a little bit older than Milinkovic, but, you know, can't hold that against him. He'll turn 25 in April.
Good lad.
You know, he's not a spring chicken, but he's young enough.
Isn't that roughly the same age as Victor Lindelof?
Probably, yeah. So he's in that sort of... He's not dead young, and he's not...
Kind of the age we need, really,
yeah,
I think, isn't
probably
it?
that sort of fits the bill.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about him. Roma,
Pretend.
6th in Serie A. If that means anything, I think we've established it doesn't really.
No.
Obviously, he's doing well. The fact that Chelsea are both targeting him as well does put up a bit of a red flag, because I don't want to get involved in a bidding war with someone who... The sort of main attraction for him would probably be that you get him relatively cheap in comparison to some of the other defenders we've been linked with. But if we're going to go head-to-head with Chelsea, that could go out the window. So you end up spending what you could probably spend on a better player anyway. So we'll wait and see. So,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fred.
Exactly. Just to wrap it up...
How much do you think Fred would have cost if City didn't want him? Be honest. And I like Fred. I don't know whether he's the best player
You've got to
in the world,
remember
but
where
I
he
think
came
he's a
from.
good player.
Like, Shakhtar Donetsk, not a club of, like, you know, no money.
No, and they were a sort of perennial round of 16 Champions League
so
team.
they're not just going to go, oh, here's one of our best players at the age of whatever, 23, have him. So I reckon he would have cost probably at least 30 mil.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what we would have paid for him. City sniffed around him and we just went, 57 or whatever it was. Look, 50 million.
50.
Yeah. You know, we want him, and then City were like, yeah, all right, have him. Sweet.
And he has been good for us, but it's certain times you think, well, did we do that because just another team wanted him?
So I know. I've been very up and down with Fred this season. Yeah. In fact, I've been very up and down with Fred since he arrived.
You could say you've been very box to box with him.
Nice,
haven't you?
Box to box with Fred. Should we wrap it up with a Diogo Dalot story?
Yes.
Dalot's Old Trafford future says headline. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is happy with Diogo Dalot's progress at AC Milan, and he's looking forward to welcoming the defender back to Old Trafford at some point in the future.
Right.
Well, that clears that up.
And who's the source?
United. Mufka. Hey? Trust them. Crazy.
Yeah. See, this is the other end of the spectrum, isn't it? Because one end you've got your expressers who are reporting, did it happen, may have happened, reports suggest, rumoured to have, sources heard. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum, which is so first-hand that you think they must be lying. Like when United's official site, who are never going to put any suggestion or any rumour or anything that's going to look bad on anyone, when they say it, you go, does that even mean anything? Ole's not going to come out and go, dickhead. What do you think of Dalot? Knobhead, probably. He's never going to say that, is he?
Hey.
Fucking shit.
You're
Diogo, what a
because I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a bit vague, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's looking forward to welcoming him back in the future. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That sounds like a note written by Marty McFly, doesn't it? Looking forward to welcoming you back to the future at some point, and then leave that in a shoebox in my wardrobe that Mum will find.
Lerone Venedo says Jay has been shooting blanks since Fred arrived.
Thoughts?
Have you been speaking
Who's
to?
been shooting more blanks, you or actually Fred, 20 yards out in front of goal?
I've got 3 children. I don't shoot blanks, I'll have you know. Eh? How many's Fred got? Well, then get facts before you come at me with the shooting blanks analogy.
3 children, eh? As many as 3. Quite impressive, that, isn't it?
Oh, man, not even had sex as well, it's mad. Immaculate conception, it's crazy.
3 times. Who is it? And do you know what's been so lovely? Jason from my work has been round.
I know.
They go to his most weekends. He's such a good guy and he's helped us out with it. People buy nannies. Jason takes them weekends.
I don't blame him.
And every other Christmas he has
To
them.
be
It's
fair,
lovely.
I mean, the kids do look just like him, so I can see why he loves them.
Yeah. For him, it's like a little bit of, look after the kids. Lovely man. Very lovely man. And he slaps me missus on the arse, so it's great. Saves me a job.
We're only joking. Yeah. He's a twat. Right. I think we're going to wrap up there now, but we always like to end with me going bright red. And you've succeeded again, Mr. Smith.
Good lad.
Tell us a little bit about what's going down in the ghetto tomorrow, my friend.
Well, tomorrow morning we've got the preview for Manchester United versus AC Milan, the vital, the crucial second leg, which has become a bit more of a touchy, tense affair than we all thought it was going to be.
Big game, that.
1-1 at the San Siro, of course, we've talked a little bit about that. And then tomorrow night, starting from 6:30, we've got the watch-along. We'll be here tomorrow. Adam McCullough's going to be here. We'll have everyone here for the watch-along for AC Milan versus Man United. Second leg, it's quite a big game, this, isn't it? And if we want to win some
I'm not just saying
silverware...
that, it's because I think you look at this week, you've got Leicester in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, you've got AC Milan's second leg of the round 16, is it, of the Europa. I mean, if we win both those games, it's going to be on such a positive high. It's like, you know, we've got a good chance of 2 trophies there. If we lose against Milan, you're going into the Leicester game thinking this is our only chance of silverware.
Yeah.
The pressure's on. So you're right, massive game tomorrow night, and we'll be here to take you all the way through it. If you're not subscribing to the channel, please do. If you've not checked out the members section, check that out. We've got a discount on the merchandise as well. Have a look there. We've got some new merchandise up. And if you're not subscribing, come on, sort your head out. Just give us a subscribe. That's been Joe. You can check him out on social media doing his thing. Joe Smith 93.
Correct.
Go and have a look. And you know where to find me. This has been Stretford Paddock Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.